Winfro, greeting you again on the O Show.
Oh, free, yeah, she likes to give you free stuff.
Thank you, I'm so flattered. I just remembered, everyone in the audience today gets a free hair curler! Which conveniently brings me to the question for tonight's show. How can we minimize the negative repercussions of legalizing opium in Afghanistan? To help me answer these questions, I've brought a few very special guests. The first is John Smith, who recently made a documentary called Their Problems. So tell us, John, what's one of the countries you're talking about?
We're talking about Afghanistan.
Now, what is one of Afghanistan's problems?
Afghanistan has a huge illegal opium production crisis.
Tell the people, what is opium?
Opium is a drug which is harvested from opium poppies and can be smoked as a cough suppressant and pain reliever. Opium also gets turned into heroin at refining labs.
Wow, who knew?
Opium has morphine and codeine in it, which people use to get, well, morphine and codeine, but mainly morphine. It definitely has medical benefits and is also a very pretty flower.
I do love my pretty things, but all that from a flower, oh my!
Oh my is right, Opium. In fact, many people around the world are in need of morphine for pain relief. There's not enough morphine circulating around to fully help everybody.
That's horrible, but what does it have to do with opium?
Well, since so much opium is going to the drug users, it's not being utilized for its good potential, which is morphine.
Oh dear! But you mentioned something about heroin. What's the deal with that?
Heroin is made when you harvest opium poppies and take it to a lab where it gets refined into heroin. Heroin is very addictive and very expensive.
So I've heard some really bad things about what heroin does to you. What exactly does it do?
Well, heroin can cause short-term side effects, just nausea, vomiting, cloudy, function, respiratory depression, to people's one day support. Heroin can also cause some long-term side effects, such as addiction, sepsis, classification, bacterial infection, infectious disease, adrenal, septal, to HIV, AIDS, hepatitis C. Don't get it for pregnant, same. Say it, we're not going to ruin life and die.
Wow. So if heroin's that bad for you, why do people do it?
Well, it gives them a sense of euphoria. You know, it makes them feel good. But overdosing on heroin can lead to coma and death.
Wow, so basically you're saying that heroin's a horrible drug and has negative side effects for everyone who uses it.
Correct.
So I've heard somehow that NATO is involved in the whole Afghanistan thing. What are they doing there?
Well, NATO, or the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, is trying to solve the opium production crisis in Afghanistan. They currently have 43,000 troops in Afghanistan. Although NATO was recently trying to eradicate the opium poppies, they're now saying they're thinking of legalizing them instead and having them be sold to drug companies as morphine for what equal prices to what the drug traffickers are paying them for.
Good old NATO.
I concur.
Thank you, John.
Thank you for having me, Opium.
Next, we have President George M. Shrub reporting to us on the policy that the U.S. has been using in Afghanistan. Hello, President Shrub. I'm sure you're doing very presidential things.
Nah, I was just golfing.
No important documents, secret files?
No, just golf.
Well, so what's the U.S. doing in Afghanistan?
Well,
Go on. Go on.
Well, we tried crop substitution, which didn't really achieve its required results.
Meaning it failed miserably.
Well, yes, but...
Go on.
Well, we wanted to spray the plants, to kill them off like a weed, but the Afghan president wouldn't let us.
Well, that's a bummer, isn't it?
Sure, but we are working on an organism that would singularly target the opium poppies.
And would that work?
Well, anything's possible, but it would probably have other negative side effects, such as destroying many of Afghanistan's population's livelihoods and potentially driving them to ally with the Taliban, which would hinder our, de-terroristification.
Who are the Taliban? They sound like a stylish group of designers.
No, they were the ruling party in Afghanistan, led by Mullah Mohammed Omar. And when I heard that they were doing bad things, like restricting justice for women and stuff, I said, let's go and destroy them. And so we went in and we did destroy them. And then they became a rebellion and a resurgency, so I said, let's destroy them again. And that's what we're doing now. They have neat hats, though.
So they are a stylish group of designers. Moving on.
Well, all I can say is that they harbored terrorists, and now they will pay.
Charming. That was President George M. Shrub, everybody. Now we'll have a brief commercial message from our corporate sponsors.
I don't like how you do opium, Tessa. You're different when you're on opium. But I enjoy getting high and not feeling the pain of my war scars. But it's changing who you are. I know. It's great, isn't it? No, I miss my best friend. Didn't she move to Alaska or something? Yeah, but you're a good friend too. Stop doing opium. But then I have to go through withdrawals and start shivering uncontrollably, having sweating, cramps, nausea, loss of appetite, diarrhea, muscle spasms, and insomnia. But you should at least try, Tessa. Maybe you could go to a rehab clinic. I live in Afghanistan, Sylvia, and there are only 5 rehab clinics, each with long waiting lists. But I don't want you to have to go through all of opium's horrible side effects. At least you aren't addicted to heroin, which has worse side effects than opium alone. Yeah, I guess. Maybe I could break the addiction if I went to Dr. Zia's clinic. Who's Dr. Zia? Dr. Zia is a prominent rehab doctor. He runs a clinic called Wayden. Well, that's great if you break the addiction, but what about everyone else? You mean the 200,000 other opium addicts and 700,000 other drug users in Afghanistan? Yes, all of them. Well, maybe if I broke the addiction, everyone else would copy me and break theirs too. Yay!
And we're back. Next, we have Jean-Jean Rubag reporting to you live from Afghanistan.
This is Jean-Jean Rubag reporting to you live from Afghanistan on the situation here for the past 7 years. In 2001, opium production reached an all-time low, poppy crops taking up only 17 acres, all because of the Taliban's ban on opium in 2000. Mullah Muhammad Omar, the main leader of the Taliban, made opium production and usage go against the values of the tenets of Islam and banned opium production and growing right before the November planting season, going to the extremes of jailing farmers until they destroyed their crops and burning down heroin labs. After the 9/11 terrorist attacks, however, the U.S. invaded Afghanistan with the help of Afghan troops, invaded Afghanistan and forced the Taliban into recession. In 2007, opium production skyrocketed, with 920,000 opium addicts and supplying 90% of the world's heroin and opium supply. Recently, NATO deployed several troops to subsidize opium production and but unfortunately, drug lords sent their own troops to hinder NATO's process. Currently, the U.S. is spending approximately $1 billion a year on what Informed Comment Global Affairs calls what may be the single most ineffective program in the history of U.S. American foreign policy. Back to you, Opium.
Thank you, Jaja. Next, we have the author of the great book, The Solution to the Problem in Afghanistan, which is Sister Chuck.
My name is Sister Chiquita.
Right. Now, Sister Chucketta, in your book, it states the solution to my previous question. Do you mind explaining?
Yeah, no. Well, for the full answer, you must buy my book. But a brief synopsis is that we should legalize opium in Afghanistan and spend the money we are currently spending to eradicate it to buy the crop, reducing the amount of illegal opium and heroin in Afghanistan. Then we should have the Afghan government tax the U.S. on the opium it buys from Afghanistan, like a tariff, so that the money can be used to start new rehab clinics, as clinics have been very successful, with 70% success rate.
And would that work?
Well, it should, but nothing's positive.
So why aren't we doing that now?
Well, although we and others have tried, our current administration won't take these ideas seriously. Makes you wonder.
So how much would this cost?
It'll be free.
How can it be free?
Well, after it is legalized, we will spend the money we are currently spending on eradication to buy the crop.
So wow, so like everyone wins.
Not quite. The drug traffickers and drug lords all around will lose money. But I consider that a good thing. A win-win.
Great. As you know, I like to end my shows with a little bit of musical talent. So without further ado, I give you Sister Chuck and her Little Nuns singing a tribute to Mula Muhammad
Mullah had a little band, little band, little band. Mullah had a little band in Afghanistan. Then the U.S. wiped them out, wiped them out, wiped them out. Then the U.S. wiped them out, no more Taliban. Opium production rose on up, rose on up, rose on up. Opium production rose on up till it reached a record high. Now it's trying to wipe it out, wipe it out, wipe it out. The U.S. is trying to wipe it out and failing miserably. Now we have a new idea, new idea, new idea. Now we have a new idea and we think that it will work. Buy it for $2 billion, billion bucks, billion bucks. Buy it for $2 billion and turn it to morphine. And turn it to morphine.
Thank you, everyone. That's our show. We'll see you next time on The O Show.